Welcome to the Teaching Skills series, focusing on the flipped classroom. The central question we must tackle is to decide what to flip, and critically, what must never be flipped. It's essential to understand that flipping is not merely putting lectures online. It is a specific design decision. Over the next 15 minutes, we will explore one decision framework, concluding with a practical task, a flip audit of one course. To truly understand what flipping actually means, we must distinguish the correct definition from the common misunderstandings that can kill it. A flipped classroom fundamentally moves the first exposure to content out of the classroom, utilizing pre-class videos or readings. This recovers class time for application, problem solving, and crucial feedback. The flip is not about the video. It's about what happens in class, where transmission is no longer the focus. This approach enables specific benefits: application during class instead of homework, real-time feedback on misconceptions, and expert guidance precisely when students struggle. In contrast, common misunderstandings are fundamentally incorrect. Simply uploading lecture slides to the learning management system is not flipping, as passive material doesn't change class time dynamics. Nor is recording a 2-hour lecture adequate. That is not pre-class material. The flip requires short, targeted micro-lectures, typically 6 to 8 minutes maximum. Critically, flipping does not mean students teach themselves. The pre-class delivers the first exposure. The classroom is where the expert drives the application. The true test of a genuine flip is this: if a student skips the pre-class video and can still follow along, nothing has truly been flipped, because foundational knowledge must be assumed in the classroom. When considering any flipped learning model, we must first address the core question: what happens in class that cannot happen anywhere else? The answer to this is what truly belongs in the synchronous environment, while everything else is a candidate for flipping. The Stays in Class column outlines these critical elements. Application of knowledge to novel problems is paramount, as students need expert guidance when they hit the edge of their understanding. This is distinct from passive first exposure. Also essential is real-time feedback on misconceptions. A video cannot respond to a wrong answer. The expert in the room can. Finally, clinical reasoning under uncertainty requires a live environment where ambiguity is held in real time. In contrast, the Candidate to Flip section highlights material better suited for independent learning. This includes the transmission of factual content, such as the mechanisms of drugs, definitions, and taxonomies. Worked examples viewed alone are also effective, allowing students to control the pace. Finally, background reading and preparation, which contextualizes content but does not form the analytical core, should be independent. By answering this core question, we ensure that valuable in-class time is dedicated to high-impact learning. To determine if a session is suitable for flipping, we must consider 5 critical criteria, and crucially, all 5 must be true. First, the content must be deliverable clearly in just 6 to 8 minutes. If you cannot distill it into a concise narrated video, the material is too complex and requires multiple micro-lectures. Second, students must be able to encounter the content autonomously without real-time expert guidance. If immediate clarification is necessary for understanding, such as a calculation error or a reasoning flaw, the session cannot be flipped. Third, the class time freed must be utilized for something demonstrably better, such as application, clinical reasoning, or structured debate. Simply replacing one lecture with another is merely rearranging the furniture. Fourth, you must establish an accountability mechanism to ensure students actually watch, like a completion requirement or a ticket to class task, as without these, the assumption will fail. Finally, and most importantly, failure to watch must not create a patient's safety risk. If not viewing the pre-class material means a student cannot participate safely in a simulation or clinical reasoning session, do not flip. Remember, if any of these criteria is false, do not proceed with the flip. While the flipped classroom model offers many benefits, this slide outlines 6 content types that must remain in class permanently, as they are inherently unsuitable for self-directed learning. First, content that requires real-time correction of dangerous misunderstandings. This includes critical areas like drug dosing calculations, CPR procedure, and sterile field maintenance. Without immediate expert correction, self-directed learning can be dangerous. Second, content whose difficulty only becomes apparent during application. Students may watch a video and believe they understand, but true complexity emerges in practice, leading to confident but incorrect conclusions. Third, content that requires dialogue to form understanding. Ethical reasoning in clinical contexts, professional identity development, and communication skills are shaped through discussion, not transmission. Fourth, first exposure to threshold concepts. These are conceptual gateways that, once crossed, transform how students think. This initial transition requires guided instruction. Fifth, content that relies on student-to-student comparison. Comparative interpretation of clinical images and peer examination demand simultaneous presence to differentiate between correct and incorrect approaches. Finally, any content where you cannot provide pre-class accountability. Without mechanisms like completion tracking or quizzes, preparation doesn't happen, rendering the subsequent class ineffective for all students. The cost of flipping the wrong content is significant. Students arrive believing they understand when they do not. The session, designed for mastery, fails everyone. When considering a session-by-session decision to flip, keep, or fix first, we must conduct the flip audit. This flowchart guides us through critical questions. First, can the core content be explained clearly in 6 to 8 minutes? If no, keep or break it into smaller units. Next, can students encounter this content alone? If no, keep, as expert presence is critical for first exposure. The third step is to ensure that the freed class time is for application, not more lecture. A no here means fix class design first, then reconsider. Next, do you have an accountability mechanism for pre-class work? If no, fix accountability before flipping. Finally, and most importantly, is it safe if a student does not watch the video? If no, you must never flip. Only if it is yes is the session a flip candidate. This course-level audit table, part 2 of our flip audit, provides a systematic approach to evaluating each session for flipped classroom suitability. We assess sessions across multiple criteria, including can flip, whether the content is within the 6 to 8 minute timeframe, if it's alone okay for independent learning, and if class equals apply, ensuring application during contact time, along with accountability and safe if skip. The verdicts range from clear flip, indicated by green boxes, through keep in class, yellow-orange, fix first, then reconsider, orange, to never flip, red. As you can see, sessions like S1 and S4 meet all criteria, resulting in a flip verdict. However, S3 and S6 are clearly never flip candidates due to multiple failures. S5, while suitable in some aspects, requires fix first before consideration. When we decide to flip, the design of the pre-class video is crucial for student engagement. Here are 6 rules for effective videos. First, maximum 8 minutes, ideally 6. Completion rates drop sharply after 9 minutes, so make multiple videos if content volume requires it. Second, one concept only, similar to chunking. Explain it completely with a worked example. Third, narrate, not bullet. Reading bullets isn't teaching. Narrate your thinking aloud. Use diagrams and worked examples to externalize your expert reasoning. Fourth, end with a retrieval question, not a summary. This provides accountability and a powerful retrieval event. Fifth, produce it once, reuse for 3 years. The time investment is front-loaded. Revise only for scientific changes. Finally, sixth, match to cognitive complexity, not content volume. A 6-minute video on a complex mechanism is appropriate, while 12 may be needed for a simple classification. Ultimately, the pre-class video is not a lecture recording. It's a purpose-built micro-lecture designed for independent, self-paced, and pausable learning.
This slide details a worked example comparing traditional and flipped models for Session 4 on ACE inhibitors. Let's analyze the structure. In the before traditional model, pre-class involved nothing required. Students arrived with no preparation. The 50-minute in-class session was primarily didactic, with 35 minutes of information transfer covering mechanism, indications, and side effects, followed by a brief case discussion. The problem is that the expert was present during the information transfer, but absent during the critical application when students are typically fatigued. In contrast, the after flipped model transforms the session. Pre-class is condensed to 8 minutes, featuring a 6-minute narrated micro-lecture on ACE inhibitor mechanisms and a pre-class task. The 50-minute in-class time becomes entirely active, incorporating a spaced starter, discussion of the pre-class question, and 40 minutes of group work on 2 cases, culminating in a debate. The benefit is that the expert is now present during the hard part, application, and real-time feedback. Fundamentally, what changed is that the expert is now present during the application phase. Information transfer moved out of the room, allowing application, reasoning, and real-time feedback to move in. This comprehensive template is a vital job aid for systematically auditing your courses and identifying potential for the flipped model, structured as 1 page per course. It begins by defining the key parameters, the specific course or module, the total sessions, and the target flip sessions, with a critical aim of 30 to 50%. The core of the template is the session-level analysis. For each session, from S1 to S8, you complete a checklist to assess its viability. Can the material be condensed into a 6 to 8 minute video? Is it alone okay for independent learning? Does it facilitate class plus apply opportunities? Is ACCT okay, ensuring accountability? And is it a safe skip? This culminates in the verdict and a specific video title if flipped. Finally, remember the strategic guidance. Aiming for that 30 to 50% flip rate is critical. Too few yields negligible impact, while too many can cause accountability collapses. Start with the 2 easiest candidates to build momentum. It's your turn. This is a 12-minute practical exercise. First, select 1 course you are responsible for. Ensure you control the session design and have access to the LMS, avoiding shared courses where changes are restricted. Next, step 2, list all your sessions, or at least the next 8 to 10. Note the session title, topic, and approximate length, as this is critical for the audit. Step 3 is the audit itself. Run each session through the 5 criteria, utilizing the flowchart on slide 6 or the table on slide 7. Record your verdict. Flip, keep, fix first, or never flip. Finally, step 4, identify your first 2 flip candidates. Choose the easiest 2 that clearly meet all 5 criteria and have an accountability mechanism already available. Write the working title of each pre-class video. Submit your completed flip audit table, including all sessions listed, the scored 5 criteria, recorded verdicts, and the working titles of your first 2 flip videos. As we prepare to implement these approaches, it's crucial to understand what often goes wrong. The first pitfall is flipping everything at once. Flipping is not an all-or-nothing decision. Start with just a couple of sessions, gather watch rate and quiz data, and adjust before expanding. A course where 2 sessions are genuinely flipped is more effective than a nominal flip of 10 with poor quality. Second, avoid simply recording a 45-minute lecture and calling it a pre-class video. Students will not complete these. Aim for 6 to 8 minutes, 1 concept, 1 worked example, and 1 retrieval question to be effective. Third, avoid flipping without changing the in-class session. If you produce a pre-class video and then lecture on the same content, you've only added homework without truly learning. The class session must be redesigned for application.
Finally, avoid treating low watch rates as a student motivation problem. If students are not watching, the accountability mechanism is insufficient. The video is too long, or the class session is not visibly better. Fix all three before concluding lack of motivation. Watch rates above 85% are achievable with proper design.
In one sentence, the essence of the flipped classroom is to flip the information, keep the thinking. This paradigm shift moves direct instruction outside the lecture hall, reserving class time for active learning, collaboration, and deep critical thinking. Ultimately, the classroom is where you are most needed to facilitate that essential application. The key takeaways for this segment will include the formal definition of the flip, 5 critical criteria for success, 6 specific types of content never to flip, and a practical flip audit template. Next, we'll discuss the crucial element of micro-lectures. Specifically, a concise 6-minute video can effectively replace 20 minutes of passive lecture.